First to fight for the right and to do the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong, 2, 3, 4, here we go. You always know that the army goes rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor believe. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, cling to the foe, until we meet once more. Is wishing you a happy voyage home. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high to the sun. Here they come, swimming to meet our thunder, as the boys give her the gun, and down we dive.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On this glorious day, welcome, welcome, welcome to the dedication of the monument in honor of the women veterans of the city of Revere from World War II. It is such a joyous occasion. God is shining on us all. And now for the presentation of colors by the Junior ROTC from Revere High School, under the direction of Major Deborah Boca and Sergeant Major Robert Callender. They will now present the colors.
Oh, you're back there. All right.
Stand, please.
Fire! Hey! All right, forward!
The children from the Paul Revere Innovation School will now come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Good loud voices, boys and girls. Ready? I pledge
allegiance forward!
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And leading us in the singing of the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, is our own Jessica Giannino.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare the
Accompanying us through this ceremony today is the Chelsea Soldiers Home Honor Guard. Thank you for coming. We also have, you may be seated. We also have a very special guest today, the former Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but more importantly, Captain Tom Kelly, U.S. Navy, a Medal of Honor recipient. Captain. There are too many people here to recognize each one personally, but I'd like to give my thanks to the elected officials who have also honored us with their presence. President of the City Council, Ira Novoselsky, Vice President Jessica Giannino, Councilors Brian Arrigo, John Correggio, Arthur Guanasso, Robert Haz, Charles Patch, Richard Penta, John Powers, Stephen Reardon, and Anthony Zambuto, and from the school committee, Vice Chair Michael Ferranti, Stacy Rizzo, Secretary, Dan McGuire, Donna Wood Pruitt, and Fred Sinella. And giving the welcoming remarks from the city of Revere is the person without whom this would not have happened. There are many people without whom this ceremony would not have happened, but particularly our Mayor, Dan Rizzo. Dan?
Carol, thank you very, very much. And I think in this particular case, you gave me way too much credit right now. I'm just very honored and privileged to be standing here before all of you today. And I must add, what a terrific crowd that has assembled here for this very, very important and long overdue dedication. So many so that I know some of my colleagues here, and I feel terrible about it, I have to acknowledge we had chairs here earlier, but so many of you turned out that we have a shortage of chairs. So my apologies to my colleagues, but they all came out to show their support for this very, as I say, important and long overdue dedication. You know, we come together every Memorial Day to honor those who were killed in the line of duty during various wars throughout our history. And, you know, it's, as I say, it's once a year that we take that time out to do it, but something that we have never done. And I have to really give a great shout out to Eileen Marullo. Eileen, you have just done Eileen has done a tremendous job. I think I was in office maybe about a month when Eileen came to me. And I'll never forget it. I was just pulling into my parking space across the street, and Eileen appeared before me with this form in her hand saying, you know, I'd like to pursue putting together a World War II monument dedicated to the women who fought in World War II. And I said, let me know what I can do. And from that day forward, she took the ball and ran with it. And really, I know without the help of many of you here, whether it's your financial contributions or letters or just overall support for Eileen's pursuit in getting this done, it would not have been possible. So to all of you and for her tireless efforts, also Morris over at the Senior Center, I know Morris was her sidekick throughout all of this. And I have to really also, I have to really also recognize somebody else without whose cooperation and support and help throughout all this, it certainly, and I know this is overused a lot of times, but seriously would not have been possible. And that's, I think, the best director of Veteran Services in Massachusetts, our own Veterans Affairs Officer, Nick Boer. I'm just going to say a few words about what I know about women who served during World War II. Women served basically in three ways. They served at home, and the way they served at home was obviously they had to care for the family while their loved ones were away in battle. But they also had to be very cognizant of being very frugal with provisions, things that were needed to support the war. So they had to support the war in that way. They also served by taking up jobs that would normally back in those days have been filled by men, but they had to go and serve in those positions. A lot of you may remember Rosie the Riveter. She was put out there in a lot of propaganda that would, support women's efforts of coming into the workforce. A lot of them serving in munitions. And then there were those women who actually served active duty to support the war effort. And we've all heard about, the WWII, the waves, the spars. We had one of the lesser known roles that women played in the war effort was by the Women's Air Force Service Pilots, the WASPs. These women who had already obtained their pilot's license prior to service became the first women to fly American military aircraft. And unfortunately, more than 1,000 of these WASPs served, and 38 of them lost their lives during the war. They were considered civil service employees back at that time, and without military status, these fallen WASPs were granted no military honors or benefits. That was up until 1977, when the WASPs received full military status. And it wasn't until 2010 when the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest civilian honors, was presented at a ceremony at the Capitol for the WASPs who served back in World War II. So I just want to once again thank all of you for being here to support a long overdue dedication. This is going to stand here forever in honor of those women in Revere who served during that period of time and helped make this country what it is today. So on behalf of the entire city, thanks so much for being here. Eileen, terrific job. To all of you involved, terrific job, and I thank you for including me. Thank you very much.
And now, to bring the greetings from the Commonwealth, is our very own state representative, Robert DeLeo, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and our friend Bob.
Thank you very much, Carol, for that very nice introduction, and I'm so proud to see so many people here this morning. It's days like this, quite frankly, that I realize what a very special place Revere is. You know, we have so many folks who came out on a beautiful day to celebrate, if you will, remember the women who served in World War II and other conflicts. And then we had the beautiful children from the youngest to the kids in high school. And although not part of my remarks today, I can't tell you how proud I am to just have one opportunity to represent this great city. And this is an example of what Revere is all about. And it's also great to see the Honorable Tom Kelly here today and Mayor Rizzo. Senator Petroselli and my colleague Representative Reinstein and the principal speaker today, Major General McWilliams. You know, it is a great honor to show our support and offer our profound thanks to our women in uniform, those serving today and those who have served throughout the years, some making the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of our country. Today in particular, we recognize those who served during World War II. This commemoration marks an important part of our history that too often we overlook. At the onset of World War II, President Roosevelt said, "There is one front and one battle where everyone in the United States, every man, woman, and child, is in action and will be privileged to remain in action throughout the war. That front is right here at home, in our daily lives and in our daily tasks." So many women in Revere exemplified that pledge and set an example for communities across Massachusetts. Their selfless efforts showed that each citizen, regardless of gender, could help uphold our way of life and our ideals. I would like to express how grateful we are to those individuals for their service. I owe a great deal of thank you, obviously, to Morris and, of course, our own Nick Boer for their efforts here today. And a very special thank you to Eileen Marullo for your forethought and tireless dedication to make this commemoration possible. Eileen served in the Medical Corps at Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. during World War II. She spearheaded this effort and single-handedly collected almost 150 signatures to get the memorial approved. Her service to our nation has never stopped. Thank you very much, Eileen. You should know, and others should know, that we appreciate the bravery of all of our female veterans that they have shown, the sacrifices made by your families and loved ones, and the positive impact that you've made on our nation and its history. I'm proud to say that Massachusetts is now ranked as the top state in the country in terms of providing benefits for our veterans. In that spirit, we want to send a message to all those who serve, both women and men. We know that you're out there, and we appreciate what you have done for our country. The legislation that we pass in support of veterans is just one way that we can say thank you. I hope that everyone will take a moment to thank all of our nation's veterans. Some gathered with us right here today, some in our hearts. Thank you for being here today and for your continued support of our servicemen and women. May God bless the United States of America, and may God bless those who fought to keep us free. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was wonderful. Bob expressed what is in the hearts of all of us, that we thank all of the veterans who are here today. Even though we're in particular thanking the women, it's everyone. And in our hearts, we always have our gratitude toward you. Our next speaker is also our representative in the legislature, our young senator, Senator Anthony Petroselli.
Thank you for the young comment, Carol. I have to tell my wife that when I get home. Good morning, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here, to be a part of your program, to honor and celebrate the sacrifices and contributions made by the women of Revere in World War II. I'm pleased to extend the congratulations on this effort on behalf of all my colleagues in the Senate to Mayor Rizzo in the city, and particularly to Eileen Marullo. I had a chance briefly to meet Eileen. If she recalls, I was on the Morris TV show. That's a wonderful experience for anyone who hasn't done that yet. Morris. And Eileen was there, and he introduced me to her, and we chatted for a while, and her wealth of knowledge of the history of the times was fascinating. She has still a lot of the old ration books. I don't know if I'm saying the term right, but the old ration books that we were going through, and I was fascinated by it, and I learned so much in just a brief time with her. So, Eileen, a job well done. Thank you so much for doing this. And once again, thank you for having me. Enjoy the beautiful day, and congratulations to the city of Revere on a wonderful moment here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker has been known in the legislature for working on veterans issues and for veterans benefits, following in the footsteps of her father, who did that throughout his entire service. Bill Reinstein was always there when a veteran needed him, and his daughter is exactly the same. Our Representative Kathy Ann Reinstein.
Thank you so much, Carol. That was very, very kind of you to mention my dad. He was great. Good morning, everybody. This is an awesome turnout. And this is because of Eileen Marullo told all of us to be here. Let's really be honest about it, right? So I have a plaque in my house, and I know anyone who's met me for 5 seconds would be really shocked to hear this. And the plaque says, do you want to speak to the man in charge or the woman who knows what's going on? All of the women here are the women that know what's going on, but Eileen certainly knows what's going on, and she fought relentlessly and never gave up to have this happen. And she was met originally with a, yeah, that's a great idea, but it's probably never going to happen situation. And then I know when Mayor Rizzo came in, he was just on board immediately. So Mayor Rizzo, thank you for recognizing what a long overdue ceremony this is to recognize the role of women in Revere who served in World War II. When you drive around the city, unfortunately there's not a lot of things you see with women's names on it. And though all the men that we honor are phenomenal, we thank all of our veterans, there's all these women that keep this community together, whether they did it during the conflicts of war or whether they do it every single day. And it's great to see all these very powerful, incredible women in the audience today as we watch some pretty powerful, incredible women make this happen and be our keynote speaker today. And no offense to all the guys, because you're all awesome, by the way. I'm very, very lucky, and I've been given great opportunities under all of you. And of course the speaker, and of course Secretary Kelly, who when I was the Vice Chair of Veterans Affairs, got to work very closely with him, and he became a good friend. And it's just an honor to have you here today. It's an honor for you. And like you said to me, you came in the sun, you told me the sun always shines in Revere, so I wore my hat. And it is, you brought the sun, so thank you. And the sun is brought for Eileen, and for all the women especially we honor today. And I was talking to your son earlier, and I said, I don't need to tell you this, but your mom is awesome. And she has never let go of this. And she just she started a wave that kept going. And Morris, who started the talk at the veterans groups and on television, and to make this a reality. So everybody who made this possible today, thank you. To Eileen for never giving up, you're incredible. To Morris, to the city, thank you. It's an honor to be here today and to get to speak with you. And let's unveil this, and I can't wait to take my nieces and nephews down here when we show them all of them, to show them this one as well. It's a great thing for young girls to see as well, so thank you all.
And now, the veterans agent that the mayor identified as the best in the state, our very own veterans agent, Nick Boer.
Good morning. Tom Kelly, thank you for your attendance. Elected officials, Mayor Rizzo, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here today. Throughout history, millions of men and women have served to protect our country, not only during military conflicts, but also the Cold War. During the Civil War, many women served. One in particular, Miss F.L. Clayton. She was with the 4th Division, the Missouri Artillery. She was wounded in battle at Shiloh. So the history of women in battle go back many, many years. When the United States entered World War II, the United States government called on the women to contribute. With millions of men entering the military and going overseas to fight, many of the women entered the military to free the men from performing administrative and nursing duties. Many women served in Okinawa and the Philippines and were taken prisoners and were subjected to many atrocities at the hands of the Japanese. The women entered the military, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Army Corps of Nursing, American Red Cross, USO, and we cannot forget the women on the home front. Women who served in the factories, making the equipment necessary for the military. We cannot forget the women who lost their husbands, their sons, their daughters. What a heartbreak these women had to endure, not only at the time, but for the rest of their lives. We are thankful to all the women of this great nation that gave all that they could give. Thank you to the women of this country. Thank you to the United States of America, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And the man who probably needs no introduction, but who is a World War II Army veteran, went in when he was young, and they realized how young he was at 16 and wouldn't let him stay, so he waited till he was 17 and went back again. He is a Veterans Committee volunteer. He's a volunteer in every part of the city. He's a man who knows how to get things done, and that's our very own Morris Morris.
Good morning, folks. They told me to keep this short, so by the time I get done, you'll all have a beautiful tan. First of all, I want to start off by saying this is the Revere Women Veterans World War II Memorial Acknowledgement deferred because it's been 68 years since that monument has gone up. 68 years, folks. A lot of people don't live that long. And Eileen Murillo, thank you for doing it. I would like to say thank you for letting me address this great gathering, and I do mean this great gathering when I look around. The people that are here came to honor us, but really we are here to honor you, because if it wasn't for you giving us the money and the help, this never would have happened, so give yourself a big hand. Thank you all. And I would also like to thank the following. I'll be done before 5 o'clock anyway. I would like to thank you, Mayor Dan Rizzo. Thank you for picking me to work with Eileen. It was an honor for me to do it. Thank you. I would like to thank the people in Dan Rizzo's office. Joyce Denuncio, who helped us. Sophia Forgione, that helped us. Miles Lang Kennedy, who helped us. And of course, Debbie West, who did a lot of the stuff that you see out here. Thank you. And to my friend Nick Brewer, who's head of the Revere Veterans, Nick. Every time I come into your office, he was always there to help me. His secretary down at Dreesen and Howie Share, thank you. And Nick, thank you again. And now I got to go to the Revere TV. We used to go up there, do a show, and people would come in, and I would introduce Eileen. We had the Tuskegee Airmen up there. We tried to get His Honor Mr. Tom Kelly, but he said he would come on the show someday. Am I right, Tom? Okay, I just want to make sure that people know that. God bless you, Tom, and thank you for your service, sir. I would like to thank Revere TV, Bob Dunbar, the director, who's standing right here, Sergio Leone, who's sitting over there, Rick Thomas, Mary Benelli, and we had a gentleman who was from Ireland that came here. His name was Gavin. Gavin, I know you can't hear me, but thank you. Also, I would like to thank the following people. I know it's a long list, but these are the people that helped us, folks. Seth Daniels of the Revere Journal, James Mitchell Jr. from the Revere Advocate, and Ira Novoselsky and Al Terminello from the Revere Veterans Committee, who gave us a location where the monument is put there. So Ira, wherever you are, thank you. Well, I started this when I was 85, I'll be done at 86. To Lillian DiFilippo of Woodlawn Monuments, thank you for making this monument possible with us too. And Paul Argentio and his crew from the Department of Public Works, thank you. And the last but not least, I would like to thank my own Revere Senior Center, because if it was Al Morelli Jr. who would let me go around and do the things that I did with Eileen Murillo. So I would like to thank Al Morelli, who's the director, the assistant director, Stephen Fielding, who will become our director in January, Lois Diamond, Marissa Coriali, and Josephine Picardi. I want to thank you. And I want to thank Carol Ty for doing a beautiful job for helping us out in the committee. Thank you, Carol. Now, there was a gentleman that came up to me at the Senior Center. He writes a lot of beautiful poems. And he said to me, Morris, if I write a poem for the Women's Memorial, would you read it? I said, no. I said, you read it. I know I shouldn't do this, but I got to do it anyway. Chucky, would you come up here, please? I got to do that. No. You did it, you should get credit for it. I just want you to read this little poem, then I have 2 closing statements and I'll be out of here. And you should be all tan by then. Just read this here, right here.
Okay. Number 2, Veterans Korean Memorial. America honors our patriots women. They gave up their homes, families, and career to serve their country like their brothers and sisters. They were the real women veterans of World War II, to name a few. The ones no longer with us, we say thank you. Thank you, sir.
I would like to close by saying, if I may, to you, Major General D. McWilliams, Eileen Murillo would honor you, because it's only fair one beautiful woman, to honor another beautiful woman. And Eileen Murillo is the one that made all this possible. And by closing, I would like to paraphrase a hero of mine of World War II. His name was Winston Churchill, who said, "Never was so much owed by so many to so few. But I say, never has one woman from the city of Revere done so much for so many as Eileen Murillo has done." Thank you, Eileen. Thank you all for coming. God bless our city, our troops, this great country, the United States of America, and God bless you all, and thank you for letting me speak. I'm sorry you did not get a chance, but thank you.
There is no one in this city, or indeed in this whole United States of America, like Morris Morris. No one. And on that same note, there's certainly no one in this city, and certainly no one in this state, and as I understand it, no one in this entire country who has led in establishing a permanent memorial for the women who served in the United States military during World War II. There is no one else who has done that. We are all here today. As Eileen says, it's not about me. It's about the women whose names are there. And we do know that. But it would be inappropriate if we did not show our excessive gratitude to Eileen Marullo. She is our next speaker. World War II veteran of the Medical Corps, Eileen Marullo. From the mayor. I have to have one from the mayor. Well, there's really no sense in me being here. They said it all. But I'm going to talk. No matter what, I'm going to talk. Can you hear me all right? Yeah? Good. Just before the day started, a young fellow said to me, "You're not going to talk too long, are you?" And I said, no, I'm not going to talk too long, but I am going to read the longest thank you note you have ever heard. He said, oh. So I asked him to have a seat. In the beginning of January 2013, with the blessings of the handsome Mayor Dan Rizzo and the also handsome Veterans Agent Mr. Moore, and with the blessings of Morris's twin brother, and the campaign to collect money began to collect money for this monument. And with the help of the women in the mayor's office, Sophia, Deborah, Joyce, and the Revere Journal, the Revere Advocate, the Revere Channel 8 TV, Boston Globe, Lynn Item, and flyers designed by Sergei Leone, the money began to pour in. And I mean, the money really began to pour in. Let me tell you where it came from. You listening? Good. It came from Somerville, Williamsburg, Peabody, Amesbury, Wakefield, West Newbury, Winthrop, Boston, Indianapolis, Indiana, Bridgewater, Arlington, Malden, Linfield, Gainesville, Florida, Boxford, Swampscott, Medford, Quincy, Saugus, Newton, Chelmsford, Lynn, Bethlehem, New Hampshire, Marblehead, Chelsea, Noblesville, Indiana, Needham, Melrose, East Boston, Winchester, Suffolk Downs, Burlington, Lincoln, New Hampshire, Charlottesville, Virginia, Bloomington, Indiana, and Pennacook, New Hampshire. And best wishes from Mrs. Obama from the White House. And, yep, I have proof to show you that. And a tremendous donation from the Women's Army Foundation in Fort Lee, Virginia, thanks to for the general. So wait, young fellow, wait, there's more. Don't go anywhere. So thank you to my sister, Lois Haydock, and my cousin, Eleanor Dillon, and all the women, the wonderful women from Revere who served for our country during World War II. And for all the kind, loving, generous people like Lillian and son David from Woodlawn Cemetery, from the Mulligan's Flower Shop, and from the undertakers, Bonfilio and Bertuccio, and from cab owners and authors and custodians and housewives and laborers, professional men and women, bankers, lawyers, teachers, jewelry makers, say no to drugs, eye doctors, nursing homes, policemen, women, lumber companies, senior citizens, veterans, legionnaires, patriots, Channel 8 TV, churches, ministers,
dentists, doctors, state and local politicians, and the dog catcher. So, as the money was donated by the people of America with love, so do we donate the monument to the city of Revere with love. Thank you.
And, as Kathy reminds me, a belated happy birthday from yesterday.
You want to know how old I am? Yeah.
Would you like to know how old she is? Yes.
All right, all you teachers, add 2 numbers together and you'll get my age.
Any 2 numbers, Eileen?
What do you want?
21.
One guess is 21.
2.
One guess is 39.
45.
So do we have another guess out there? 90. We have a guess at 90. Oh, she couldn't possibly be 90. No, couldn't possibly be.
I'm 91.
Oh! 91 glorious years. And looking great. Boy. That's an example to all of us. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for being a wonderful role model. Eileen brought the guest speaker here today because, as the General said, who can say no to Eileen? So our guest speaker today is the president of the Army Women's Foundation in Fort Lee, Virginia. The General served in the Army for 29 years. She commanded 4 companies, a battalion and a brigade. She was also in the Pentagon on 9/11. So, as we celebrate the memory of all who have given their lives or lived their lives in service to our country, I invite as our guest speaker, Major General, retired D. Williams.
Captain Kelly, Mayor, distinguished members of the Commonwealth Legislature, it's an honor to be here with you, but mostly hello to the citizens of Revere, Massachusetts. I apologize for my southern accent. My mother did it to me. The greatest generation. Yep. They keep proving it over and over and over. Eileen Marullo is a member of that generation who is still proving that they're the greatest generation. There is no doubt in my mind. During World War II, approximately 400,000 women joined the active service. 150 of those were from Revere, Massachusetts. Now, in the 1940s, Revere was not quite the bustling city that it is now. Maybe 30,000 people. And 150 of its daughters said, "I want to serve my country." And they did. And we're going to see their names and hear their names. And Revere and all of the people who have contributed to this has said, "We will never forget you. You are in our hearts. We recognize what you did. What did they do? A woman in the 1940s who put on the uniform of their nation and joined a basically all-male organization was really a pioneer. They were extraordinary. Extraordinary as in out of the ordinary. That just wasn't done. Women were temporarily disowned by their family, scoffed at, called names because of stereotypes of those women, but they did it. Some of them had never been out of their county. And they went to Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, like you did, to Fort Des Moines, Iowa. They went to places they'd never heard of and went through training with other women so that they could serve their country. They believed in our country, our values, our ideals, and our democracy. And they wanted to have a piece of protecting that. And they did. I had this big long speech, but Morris took up all the time. And I said to Morris just before I started, don't worry. I'll tell you what Elizabeth Taylor used to tell all her husbands. I won't keep you long. There was a lot of resistance nationwide and from the service chiefs in Washington, D.C. about having women in uniform. Oh, let's just let them volunteer for stuff, or they can be civilian clothes employees. And there was a very strong-willed representative in the United States House who said, no, women should serve their country on an equal footing with men. She was from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and her name was Edith North Rogers. Because of her, we established permanent services for the women. Now see, here's your Massachusetts thing again. What a tie into what we're doing today. After those first few women went in and the services were able to see how well they did and that they were serious and dedicated and had a lot of skill, many of the women who came in were like Eileen. They already had a degree. So they were able to adjust, maybe bring a different point of view and some new ideas to what was going on. So the Army upped its recruiting goal to 1.5 million women. They didn't make it, because only 400,000 served. But that shows you how valuable the Army finally and reluctantly decided, wow, we need some more women. So the ground was broken, the country was served, and they came home. Thank you for your service. They meant it. You don't have a job here anymore. We're not having a war, so it's time to go do something. Well, Eileen, for about 25 years, worked in the schools of Revere, Mass. Maybe taught with or taught many of you. Hearing her today, I would be in fear of my school teacher. I can just hear her saying, there will be discipline in this room or there will be no room. The women we are honoring today, the women of Revere who served in the historic epic of victory in World War II, will not be forgotten. Thanks to all the people who have been named today. It's a great thing that you are doing for those women, for our veterans. This is their memorial, and it's your dedication to remember them forever, and it's now in stone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And a slight change in the program. Mr. Mayor, would you come forward, please? Eileen, would you come forward, please?
Stay here.
How do I look, all right?
Eileen's getting a unexpected second crack at the microphone. She did so good the first time, we're going to give her a second shot at it. So,
have a job?
but you always have a job. So before we get to the unveiling and the reading of the names, I think all of us will enjoy this few moments that we're going to take to further recognize your efforts, Eileen, in this. And I know General McWilliams will be very pleased to, I think, General, why don't you come up here and partake in this as well? You travel all the way from Virginia. You can come another few feet and share in this great moment with Eileen. And this is just a little, when I tell you, a small token of our collective appreciation for what Eileen has done and how she has led this effort. I'd like to just read a certificate of recognition. And this is in recognition of her dedicated service to our country and our city, and for your tireless efforts in bringing a long overdue memorial acknowledging our own women veterans who participated in World War II. I hereby declare today, September 7th, 2013, Eileen Marullo Day. This certificate is presented by the Mayor of the City, Massachusetts, by the City of Revere, Massachusetts, on behalf of its citizens, the 7th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2013, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 237th. And as I say, it's a small token of our appreciation, but I know today will be a day that a lot of us will remember, and Eileen, we're going to always remember your efforts for all you've done to make this happen. So thank you so much.
That's it. Okay, here we go.
Don't back up when you step on the side.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I thought yesterday was my birthday. But this day is the real day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now I invite the mayor, Eileen, Morris, the general, and Nick Boer to go to the monument for the unveiling. And we are honored. You may either go there if you choose or stay in your seats. The names are in yours. You might recognize some names because there are people here today. And we have a special honor. Reading the names of the women who are on the monument is a very special guest, because the names memorialized on this monument will be read by Roland Marullo, whose name you might remember because he is quite a distinguished author and the son of Eileen Haydock Marullo. Roland, could you please step forward to read the names? Just let us know when you did get the unveiling. Mars, you can cut it.
Donna Alvino, Elena Alvino, Ursula Arsenault, Eileen Aylward, Esther Barbone, Mary Barnacle, Evelyn Barrett, Anna Barry, Ruth Barry, Helen Becker, Dorothy Berger, Rose Anna Bergeron, Adelaide Bishop, Phyllis Bishop, Betty Blaine, Ethel Blaisdell, Sylvia Blotcher, Mary Borowski, Ruth Brown, Valerie Buckingham, Josephine Camerlengo, Emma Cole, Frances Coleman, Adele Corsetti, Marie Cowig, Marjorie Cowig, Isabel Crowley, Catherine Cummings, Dorothy Curry, Myrtle Decker, Barbara Delano, Alice Delorey, Dorothy DiNapoli, Rose Dewing, Eleanor Dillon, Anne Marie Donnelly, Claire Dooley, Eleanor Dooley, Edna Doucette, Gertrude Dyke, Alice Edwards, Evelyn Ekstrom, Cora Fabiano, Ruth Fessett, Catherine Fagan, Irene Fagan, Marguerite Fennelly, Anna Ferragamo, Pauline Ferrari, June Ferrelli, Alice Fitch, Ava Floyd, Gladys Forsyth, Shirley Gale, Bernice Gilfun, Caroline Gilbert, Mary Gilliam, Estelle Gilman, Sylvia Januski, Harriet Gold, Jeanette Goldberg, Sylvia Goldberg, Marie Graff, Mary Griffin, Helen Hamilton, Edith Hardick, Arlene Harding, Helen Harkins, Mabel Harris, Eileen Haydock, Lois Haydock, Lena Hayes, Mary Hayes, Eileen Hurley, Jeanette Huppman, Hilda Katz, Mary Keefe, Doris Capink, Irene Kissel, Esther Kinney, Eleanor Kramer, Gertrude Laffey, Ethel Lazarus, Mildred Lazarus, Catherine Lloyd, Bernice McDonald, Eleanor McDonald, Virginia McGinnis, Jean McClellan, Elma Salvatore Martin, Eunice Martin, Frances Maselli, Marion McCarthy, Janet McGregor, Ruth McPike, Dorothy Messer, Anna Morrissey, Blanche Morrissey, Eleanor Mortimer, Charlotte Mosher, Marguerite Mosher, Eleanor Mulligan, Jeanette Murphy, Margaret Murphy, Miriam Nelson, Dorothy Nigro, Dorothy Novus, Mary O'Donnell, Irene Pearson, Eleanor Pike, Phyllis Pisano, Sylvia Price, Margaret Rafferty, Evelyn Rapucci, Sabina Regioni, Alice Rosenberg, Florence Rosenberg, Ida Rollins, Francis Rubin, Irma Sandler, Anna Santa, Gloria Scapa, Gertrude Schaefer, Gloria Shanahan, Beatrice Schulman, Rebecca Silbowitz, Mary Silverman, Annabelle Simonson, June Simonson, Harriet Smith, Elizabeth Spiane, Annabelle St. Clair, Margaret Sermon, Marianne Sermon, Mary Sweeney, Martha Sweetnam, Minnie Thorison, Bertha Torf, Rose Vasseur, Lila Vesche, Rita Waldron, Blanche Walsh, Barbara Weimer, Evelyn Wheeler, Rita White, Ruth Williams, Jeanette Winneman, Ruth Winston, Ann Wynn, and Julia Champa.
Thank you. Now, just before we have the unveiling, I noticed that there are people here because the women on this monument were our teachers, our mothers, our sisters, our nurses, our friends, our colleagues, and so in some way we are all connected to them. So if you are connected to someone whose name is on that monument, could you stand now and let us all give applause for one last time? Here it is, folks. Here it is. The Revere Women Veterans World War II Memorial, 41 to 45. It will stay here as a reminder of the service they have given. One small note, people have said to me, well, I noticed so-and-so's name is not there. The women are listed, in most cases it's their birth name, but they're listed by the name under which they served, not their marriage name. So my friend Irma Sandler, Wertheim, is listed only as Irma Sandler. And I can see it all the way down the list that that's how people are listed. And so there's a personal connection to each one. We invite you to go up and touch the name of the person you know afterwards. But now, under the watchful eye here of the Chelsea Soldiers Home Honor Guard, who has been distinguishing this memorial and this service by their presence here today, I would like to give a round of applause to them to say thank you. And ask that Brian Corcoran come forward now. Brian is going to lead us in a musical forces. I hope all of you will be in your best voices. You have the words with your program. Let's have everyone singing. And God bless you on this wonderful day. Thank you all for coming.
As the proud son of a World War II veteran, it is an honor for me to be here with you today. As Carol mentioned, you all have song sheets, and maybe for a few moments we can sing like we used to when we were young children, unabashed, sing like there's no one listening. First to fight for the right and to do the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence of the strong, 2, 3, 4, here we go. You always know that the army goes rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, shore to Arctic Zone to Europe and Far East. The flag is carried by our ships in times of war and peace. Never have we struck it yet, in spite of foemen's might, who cheered our crews and cheered again for showing how to fight. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight and save, or fight and die, my Coast Guard we are for you. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Brian. That was wonderful. Have a joyous day on this joyous occasion. And now we have some refreshments served inside in the Legion. We'd be happy for everyone to join us. Thank you so much for coming.
That's okay.